For having you today, from making us this honor. Talking again about the coffee of Indonesia because it's a never-ending story. Your coffee.
Story,
so the stage is yours.
Thank you
again.
Thank you again. Thank you for inviting Kalispera. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I continue, my name is Junjunan. I'm the Indonesian ambassador to Greece. And I'm glad this is my second time being here again. Hopefully that I would like to introduce to you what is the specialty coffee of Indonesia. Before I continue, can I ask anybody has been to Indonesia before? Not Indonesian, but of course. Okay, one. Oh, ladies. Any man exactly? Yes. Of course, he's a husband, so but anyway, it's good to know that you've been to Indonesia, and I do know perhaps you have tried Indonesian coffee. So before I continue, basically what's so special about Indonesian specialty? It's about a cup of coffee. I'm quite sure that most Greeks are a coffee lover. But I'm not saying crazy coffee lover, but I do know also coffee lover. I've seen so many of my friends in Greece here for about 1.5 years. At least they drink about 3 to 4 cups of coffee every day. And that would make me think, why not Indonesian coffee can be here as soon as possible? So this is why I'm here today, just to give you a very glance information about what is Indonesian coffee meant to everybody, but I like to see you, before that, what is Indonesia completely, if some of you have not been in Indonesia. Most of you, I do know you be in Bali. No? Which Indonesia then, Bali? Oh, in Galang Island. Back then when there is the refugees. Very good to know. So next time we will Bali. Yeah. Right, so Indonesia is completely one of the largest archipelagic countries in the world, which actually spread to almost more than 17,000 islands, spreading from west to east, which actually if you fly from the west part of Indonesia to the eastern part of Indonesia, it will take 6 hours. With a different time, 2 times different. So basically, we are spreading all over the area, of which that Indonesia is also the 4th largest coffee producers in the world. Nobody knows. What I've learned from here, basically when we talked about coffee here meant to be black. They don't care what kind of the aroma, what kind of the flavor or anything. They just see coffee is black when it's served completely what they would like to do. Cappuccino, affogato, or perhaps some Greek coffee and things like that. But to my understanding, it's supposed to be when you taste coffee, you need something more in flavor. First, Indonesia meant with the coffee. Now, why Java? Because at the time, only in Java, coffee has been introduced very vividly. So along in the glance, I just want to make sure that Indonesia will become quite a very active traders, in particular for those commodities that spread all over the world, in particular coffee, and as well as to anything else in the context of palm oil, for example, or else. So, talking about the Indonesian specialty map exactly on where the coffee came in from in Indonesia. Basically, we identified there are 7 areas of coffee producers in Indonesia. If you see in the context of this map, starting from the west part of Indonesia, here till Papua, there are 7 different types of coffee. Plantations, producers, the flavor, the aroma. You may not be able to sense coffee from Aceh, for example, and then comparing to Papua, because the blend will be different, the thickness will be different, and that makes Indonesian specialty coffee need to be tasted here in Greece. Now looking towards that, if I show you the whole map of the coffee producers in Indonesia, when we talked about the coffee in Aceh, for example, what we call it in northern Sumatra, we have Aceh Gayo, Sidikala, Mandailing, within this area. Mostly it is smoky, nutty, and a lot of things. So comparing to the different types of this every coffee here, they all rich in every single different taste of coffee. Then I would say, you might have to come and visit Indonesia to taste it. But if you cannot, why not we bring the coffee of Indonesia here and we tasted it? And I'm looking forward of any of you thinking about making a good opportunity for working with the embassy to bring the coffee of Indonesia here. I'll be very happy to assist you. Now, talking about the whole ideas about Indonesian specialty coffee, myself, I came from this part of Java Island. I don't know whether you know Bandung. Maybe you understand when you're back in the high school, or maybe it was the Asian African Conference. So that's I came from Bandung. And there's one coffee here from, they call it Ciwidey. It's a bit more high elevated areas in Bandung areas, which totally providing a coffee which totally rather lemony and flavor and high intensity in acid. It's good to enjoy that when you are lonely in the afternoon. But usually there's nothing that you can enjoy lonely when it's a coffee. So the whole idea of this one, this is why I would like to know exactly how far that might be the Indonesian coffee may be introduced here in Greece. So when we talked about the coffee itself, Indonesian specialty most likely growing in the context of geographical diversity, as I mentioned, starting from the western part to the eastern part of Indonesia. And then this coffee known because of the bold one and then the complex flavor profiles, which is totally the sensations when you make a coffee. Either or you make it hot or mild, or perhaps maybe in the way how the Greeks also do. Espresso flavor, I love it. But sometimes the espresso need to be having more bold and a little bit more acid to become more. Very unfortunately, it's not yet being recognized and known here in Greece. So talking about that, I have something that maybe after that I have a small quiz for you guys. Have you ever known about kopi luwak, luwak coffee? No, you're my wife, nothing to do with that. Anybody knows what kopi luwak? Google it, so you'll see how it's there. So kopi luwak, one of the most expensive coffee in the world. Why? Googling it. Then I will ask you questions at the end of this presentation, and then I have a box of coffee for you to understand maybe what is the kopi luwak. So kopi luwak, one of the main important points, which really would like to be introduced here in Greece, but that need to be more concise in the way of that. So we talked about Indonesian coffee in Greece. What we have been done so far for the last 10 years. We've been here for almost 30 years at the embassy, but the relation between Indonesia and Greece totally is about 75 years. Next year will be our 75 years relation between Indonesia and Greece. So Indonesian coffee in Greece, I would say, still less than what I expect. As an ambassador, I really would like to see the Indonesian coffee enjoyed by each of every Greek people. In particular, I do know they are a coffee lover, they are a coffee drinker, they are like outing. I've seen so many coffee shops all over Athens, always full with people in the morning, after lunch, in the afternoon. So I really would like to see whether the coffee would be great if Indonesians can introduce the potential of this special coffee in Greece. So if we see about it, Indonesia exports only 2,000 tons every year, very less. It's not like a commercial coffee coming from Venezuela, for example, from Colombia, or from Latin America, or from Africa. It's always commercial coffee coming maybe tons and kilos. But Indonesians try to become more specific when they understand about the ideas of innovations on the specialty from Indonesian west part to the Indonesian eastern part. So that's what we like to understand. And consumption of Greece coffee is almost 40,000 tons a year. So there's nothing less on that particular much. I really would like to say, perhaps, if we talked about everything, some Indonesian coffee imported from coffee only from Germany and Italy. why not we can come right away directly from Indonesia to Greece without any third party? And this embassy, my embassy, will be very more happy to work with you on that. Now, on the potential to improve the coffee export of Indonesians to Greece, and I think one of the most important points today and the whole for this event, starting from today until Monday, we have a stand on D7, 10A. We have a lot of some of Indonesians specialty coffee that might be relevant to be introduced to you. Come, join us, taste one of the Indonesian specialty, and you see how the different on that. So talking about that, one of the most important point that I would like to introduce to you is about the similarity between Greece or Greek and Indonesians to enjoy coffee. It's almost similar what we can do. That's the way how you do Greek coffee, similar with what we did in Indonesia. We call it kopi tubruk. Tubruk means, I would say, it's what? Collision. Why is collisions? Because basically, when you do your Greek coffee, you pour in coffee with the hot water and then you boil it until it is vaporized, right? And then after that you wait and then you pour it in. Ours is almost the same. Put the coffee, 2-3 spoons, and then put some hot water, and that's becoming a coffee. So both sides enjoy very much because you can sense the flavor, you can sense the dirt as well, because that's one of the best things. When you drink coffee, you don't drink coffee in the filters. You drink coffee whatever it is, and you have feeling the dirt itself. So, since we have a similarity between Greek coffee and coffee tubruk, why not we can do the same way to enjoying it, and coffee in particular, this particular point. So, before I close this short presentations and I come back to you with the question and answer, specialty coffee Indonesia, actually, when we talk about enjoying the coffee, these are the top 3 most visited coffee shops level in that context, coming from local coffee shops, like everywhere here. You can see people everywhere in Indonesia. It cannot be separated between coffee and cigarettes. That cigarettes sometimes different in the context of that. But the way how we make it relevant in the specialty coffee ecosystem, that we have the Indonesian Specialty Coffee Associations, which is the one that really need to be more relevant with what we can do to introduce that more worldly and global in that context. And then secondly, we have a government embassy support. That's why I'm telling you, if any of you are interested to think about bringing the Indonesian coffee or trying to work with us, I will be very happy to welcome you there. And then we have a sustainability initiative, because Indonesia now have what we call it the Special Research Center for Coffee, in the context of how to bring coffee Indonesians more quality control to become more globally accepted. And then, of course, exactly last, I think 3 months ago, we were having the World of Coffee held here, which is supposed to be in Budapest, but they changed it to here. And the one Indonesian barista is becoming the 2nd champion of the world, the barista. I don't know how he do it, but I think he knows how to express the difficulties of making coffee to Greek people. But he managed to do so, and he won. So, saying that, Indonesia is one of the leading country in one of the most powerful and strongest regional organization in Asia, the Southeast Asia nation, the ASEAN. This year, we are the presidents of this organization, and on the 42nd and 43rd ASEAN Summit in Jakarta, we introduced 3 different specialty coffee for 3 different occasions, which is Gayo from the western part of Aceh, and then Ijen from this eastern Java island, and then the Java. Specialty coffee is served in this particular point, and all of those 20 head of government and head of states are completely enjoying it. And now we are trying to start on that particular point. So the last, thank you very much for your attention, and I do know that we are here. You are most welcome to visit and taste Indonesian coffee. Thank you again, Pastor Polly, and I'm ready for question and answer.
Thank you, Pastor Polly. Any questions? Ερωτήσεις κανείς?
Yes, and I have something to offer you for a quiz, but it's limited only to non-Indonesian, yeah? Can you bring that to me? Because I have to show them first, then they can ask the questions then. Right, any questions, perhaps? Okay, please.
Please wait. The coffee you mentioned coming from your area was not included in the Asian Summit.
The
variety.
the variety of coffee, yes.
From your area,
My
from
area.
your own area, which is Vandu, from Vandu,
Yes.
was not included in the summit. Or,
In the summit. In the summit, I don't know why, but maybe they would like to introduce something else, but definitely they will do that, at least on my part.
It is amazing, the coffee varieties. They are so delicious, so tasty.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also this variety you mentioned is...
So should we do something to bring the coffee here?
Sure.
Perfect.
Sure, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Right.
Taking coffee with sweet or just coffee?
It's like choosing a wife. I like when I have an espresso, freddo. I like it more blend in the context of a small quantity of sugar, just to bring the flavor. But when you have it to make it hot, for the Greek coffee, for example, I like it flat. I like it flat with that point.
Is there any Greek coffee with sugar or sugar?
Mostly Indonesians will always
No sugar.
with sugar, always with sugar. But that depends on the people really who want to enjoy it. But here I think people like to have coffee without sugar. Am I correct? Right. So I have some quiz. If you following what my presentation is, have you seen that Bali is one of the most tourist destinations in the world? Also assigned as one of the most potential tourist destinations in the context of quality and quantity. Is anybody knows Bali is an island or within an island? Of course Bali is, but is it an island or is it within an island? That's a good question. Is it an island or is it within an island? An island, okay. So anybody is there, right? An island. So Bali also has been recognized in a very famous world name. Does anybody knows about it? Everybody knows Bali other than Bali.
The island of gods.
Thank you. And your name is? Olga. Thank you, Olga. So I think Olga has something that we should get some big coffee for her. Thank you. Olga, I hope you enjoyed it. So, anybody thinks about something to request or any good questions? I will also give you something. I have another one coffee and some cigars. Anybody who smokes cigars here? You do? Okay, can I ask you something, sir? Where are you from? From Cyprus. Okay, a long way to go. To visit. Do you have some questions for me, or I should ask questions to you?
Yes. How many kilos of coffee luwak you produce?
Oh, very good questions. Because do you know how kopi luwak is produced?
I tried, yes.
You did try, and very acidic, right? Anybody knows about how the luwak coffee has been produced? No? Okay. Think about an animal. Yes. Yes, it's a kind of a cat. Civet cat. So it ate it digests in it, and then poo, we clean it, we dry it, we roast it. So actually we are drinking an animal poo, but it's great, right? So, I mean, when you ask the questions about how many, quantities of luwak coffee, it's very limited. You have to be very specifically looking into a very good company to work with, which we can help you if you would like to think about that. And then we have to specifically importing that in a very special way of producing. Because basically you cannot. So for example, like 1 cup of coffee, it's about 15, I think, around 15 euros per cup of coffee. So that's expensive.
If I may, there's a huge controversy about the production, and
Yes.
I'm sure, because I remember from your last presentation, that there is only the approved way of
Producing
producing
luwak
it,
coffee.
and you
Yeah.
encourage people to buy from certified producers.
Yes, it has to be from certified.
Okay.
So thank you again. I will give you one Indonesian cigar, which totally is very great. Right. It's gonna be nice, but it's okay. I'll get my colleague to do that. It's 5 different types of Indonesian cigar, pure tobacco from Indonesia. It's,
So, please wait for a picture. If you, no, you giving the.
you give it that, okay.
Thank you.
So this cigar also one of the main productions of Indonesia from the eastern part of Java, and basically it's from Jember. It came from the Havana seed, we call it. We bring from Cuba. We grow it in Indonesia because Indonesian soil is a bit more rich in the context of volcanic, so the flavor will be different. No, not Sumatra, Java wrapper, and then we call it from the what the other one? From Jember, the Besuki the tobacco. So, my last questions will be another box of coffee. Let me check again. On my presentation, I was mentioned about Indonesia in glance. So can you mention to me how many populations of Indonesia exactly? And then how many islands that we have exactly? So you can have both. If you can answer right both of them, you can have 1 coffee and 1 cigar. Okay. Okay. Only. Okay. Anybody else? So I don't know how to express that, but I think since you've been to Indonesia, I will give you my coffee. Sorry? 275.5, 275.8 something. That one. And then 17,581 islands. Actually, 12,000 of it already been named, and the rest still in the progress. Because I don't know, maybe if you would like to buy the property in there, so we can have one of the island in your name. But we know that. Inhabitants on every island, I would say only 30% of the total island. 30%. Starting from the, so you get the, Right, so we have actually 5 biggest islands in the context of that. This is the most populated one is here. There's almost about 150 million living here in Java. And then one of the biggest island in the context of areas is Papua, which is maybe the population here less than 3 million. And then we have the second one would be here in Sumatra. This is Bali, the island. And then we have the Sunda Lesser Island. And also here we call it the Moluccas, one of the most, the Spice Island back then. And particularly we are going to see this would land into the similar where Greece is. Mostly islands, nice and pristine and waters. But actually our capital is here in Jakarta. But in 2024, next year, we will move our capital to here in Kalimantan. So it's a new one. We just built everything here. Now, since 3 years ago, about now 40%. Stand D7, number 10. You won't miss it. There's a big name of Indonesia. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed today.
Thank you very much.
Gimana sih?